I just saw a 3-minute and 11-second video of a woman saying how much she hates and regrets being a mom.
You know, when some mothers come to the internet to tell us how regretful they are for having those children, you know, when they come to rant and advise us not to get pregnant or not to just do it because it doesn't worth it. Do you know this type of videos annoy some men? And so there's this particular creator one time. I know we've done the video, but it's been a while. So this woman came on the internet to tell us that she regrets being a mom, right? And her child is like 8 years. She regrets it. She's telling us how her life has been miserable, how she has lost her job, how she has felt ill, and all of that since she had the child. And she feels like she just telling us how much she regrets being a mom and all of that. So this particular video annoyed one particular creator, and it's like, do you how he asked a question, yeah, and he said, how would you feel if your son sees this video, or how do you think your son will feel when he sees this video? Let's watch this clip together, then I'll come back and share my thoughts.
Saw a 3-minute and 11-second video of a woman saying how much she hates and regrets being a mom. She literally starts the video off with, I'm a single mom with an 8-year-old and I've been miserable for the last 8 years of my life. That's how she starts the video, and then goes on to a detailed, vivid description of why she hates being a mom, why she regrets it. She's never been happy being a mom. She wishes that she could go back. If she could do things different, she would. She's telling people never have kids. She never had a village. Just going on this outrage of why she hates being a mom. She ends the video with saying, don't be a mom, whether you're married or not. It is not worth it. Don't do it. Ends the video. Now, the first question that popped up in my mind, I needed to ask her because it wasn't for nobody else. It was for her. So I go in the comments, and I don't dance in the comments much, babe. I don't. I ask, your son's 8 years old, right? How is your 8-year-old son supposed to feel when someone brings him a video, flips it in his face, and it's his mom going on a 3-minute and 11-second rant saying how much she hated being his mom, how much she regretted it, how much she wishes she could do it, how much she's telling other people don't do it, how much she's telling people that because she had you, it ruined her life and she was never able to do anything. She's been miserable for the last 8 years of her life. How is a young boy supposed to digest that coming from his mom? Because you're putting it out into the world. You don't think that it's going to circle back around to him? It is, if it hasn't already. So that was my question. So when I post my question, of course, people started liking it. A lot of comments started coming in under it, and she deletes the comment. Eventually, she deletes the video in its entirety because she started to see that those comments were starting to outweigh the likes. You know, when people start seeing that the comments is outweighing the likes, people start saying, oh, okay, this video is not going how I expected it to go. Eventually, she deleted the video and then blocked me, but the question still stands. How is your son supposed to feel about this? And also, if you're feeling this strongly about your son and about you having your son, I'm curious about what is the quality of his life at home? There's a lot of questions after seeing this video of you saying how much disdain and resentment you have. These are words that she used. Disdain and resentment that you have, that you have a child. There's a lot of questions behind that video. Babe, I just saw a 3-minute.
When a mother says that she's being regretful or she regrets having children or regrets motherhood, do you think she's automatically saying that she hates kids or she hates her child or the children that she had? Are you saying that she hates them if she comes and tell us that she regrets motherhood? Like, let's assume a mother of four is coming to tell us how much they regret motherhood after 15 years. Does that mean that they hate their children? Because I'm kind of getting the vibe from that video, meaning that for you to say you regret motherhood, meaning that you hate kids. I have some reaction on this video. Let's watch this reaction together, then I'll come back and share my thoughts at the end of the video.
An 11-second video of a woman saying how much she hates.
Okay, so I'm going to try my best to be thorough with this response. So this previous video that I stitched is of this man saying that he just saw a video of a mother taking her whole 3 minutes of the video saying how much she hates being a mother. She has an 8-year-old son, and apparently in this video, I have not seen the video that he's referring to, but apparently in this video, she talks about how her son is 8 years old and she has hated being a mother since she basically gave birth to her son. Now, he goes on to say she has used the words hate, disdain, regret, all of that, right? And I wanted to come here and say that as a human being, and then as a woman, and then as a mother, there is duality in all of these roles, right? So as a parent myself, like I said, I didn't watch the video, so I don't know exactly what she says. When I was reading the comments, it didn't say that she says she hates her son or hates her child. She says she hates being a mother, regrets being a mother. Now, like I said, there's a duality in certain roles that you have as a human being. As a woman and then as a mother, sometimes I do regret being a mother. That is the hard, untold truth. It does not make me or change the way I love my child. My child was brought here not by choice. So I understand that me sometimes admitting and feeling like, oh, well, maybe this wasn't a choice that I would have taken at the time, or maybe there are times that I could have went a different way. The reality of the situation is the child is here now, and I'm going to continue to fulfill my duty and responsibility as a mother. I'm also going to step out and advocate for this mom who obviously, if she has continued her role as a mother for the 8 years of that child, she has not left her position or abandoning her position as a mother. Now, we could also say, we don't know what's going on in that household. I would like to be more productive and positive with the side of, if this woman who came on here and just wanted to vent her truth about what she feels like her experience about being a mother has been, I'm just going to try to stay positive and say that she's obviously still fulfilling her role as a mother, because if not, maybe there would have been a different video of how she then goes on to say, I regret being a mother, so I gave up my child. I didn't see the video, and it's not, he didn't say that she said that. So I'm just going to err on the side of caution to say that this mom used her platform to voice a very harsh reality that at one point you can hate being a mother or regret being a mother while still being a very good parent, mother, and love your child. That is the duality of that role as a parent. I'm coming to say that I have experienced that sometimes, that feeling. And then I want to go on to answer your question of, he says, how is it supposed to make that child feel? Well, I mean, right now, that child is 8. I don't know if this child has a TikTok, and I don't know if this child is on his mother's page listening to that video. So like I said before, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say that that child is not consuming that video of which this mother put out her opinion. Not knowing all the information, my goal for replying to this is to let's normalize that there can be duality in any role. And especially being a parent, it is very hard. At every waking moment, you are responsible for a person. And while I can also accept that responsibility, I could also sometimes hate it. So I hope that helps in the small context of what we have for this video. But yeah, it's called duality, babes. So have a good day.
Of a woman saying how much she hates and regrets being a mom.
First and foremost, I just want to say, I know being a mother is an extremely difficult and challenging job on a day-to-day, especially when you do not have no support or nobody to pass that baton to when you need a break. Mothers have to endure a lot mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, every single day. And they have to do it whether if they're sick, they tired, or they just don't feel like it. It is a lot. It is a very demanding job that you do not get a day off from unless you have, the support system for it. And this is coming from somebody who is not a mom. And I understand that that's how it could be because of what I see personally in general. With that being said, there are some things that I personally feel should not make the internet. And that is definitely one of them. Only because the child could literally see that one day. And even though it wasn't specifically stated that the mother hates her child, she stated that she hates being a mother. She hates motherhood and she regrets having a child for almost 8 years. That could be perceived by the child completely different. That child could literally take that a totally different way. And that can hurt their feelings. It could break their heart. It can also make them look at you completely different as a mother. And that is the type of doors that you open when you post stuff like this on these platforms. And I'm not saying that the mother feelings and how she, felt the need to express herself was not valid. It's just where she chose to do it. And once you put something on these apps, you cannot take it back. You cannot take it off. We are in a digital world now. Your kid could see this 5, 10, 15 plus years down the line. It could resurface. And there are a lot of videos like this circulating on the internet with a lot of women talking about how they hate being mothers, or they hate motherhood, or they wish they never became a mother, or they regret having their children. I see it all the time, and it is very sad. And I empathize with the women who do feel that way because, like I said, going back to originally, being a mother is not an easy job, especially when you don't have a support system. All of that would make a woman feel that way. And I could understand why it would make them feel that way. It's just one day, your kid may see that shit. And long as you are prepared to be held accountable for what could come with that, if you were ever addressed about it, just make sure that you listen to understand and not respond. And you also empathize with your child. Because we have enough broken children walking around in adult bodies, and a lot of them are broken because of things that their parents said or did to them. And we have to continue to work on breaking the cycle. This right here is something that will just further continue it.
Women saying how much she hates and regrets being a mom. She literally starts the video off with, "I'm a single mom with an 8-year-old, and I've been miserable for the last 8 years of my life."
Society wants women, especially mothers, to suffer in silence. This specific creator has come on my For You page 2 times now, discussing women's experiences. Experiences he doesn't actually relate with, he can't cognitively empathize with. He will never be a mother. When I notice that men are constantly discussing women's issues, I get the sense that they can't actually keep up with men. They actually fear having smoke with men. One of his beliefs is not everything should be shared on the internet. And this sentiment actually silences women. I don't agree with it. Women come on social media sharing their experiences, which most times are not unique to them. So by them sharing it, they may be mindful that it can be relatable for different women, right? If you actually listen to women, aside from social media, in real life, and you hold space for women, you actually hold space for women. And you don't put on this performative show like you actually care about kids, because if you did, you wouldn't be criticizing their mother. You would uplift her. That's why it seems performative. If you actually held space for mothers, you would hear that this is not new. The sentiment that women, after having children at some point in their lives, they feel some regret of having children. Essentially, when people tell women not to share their experiences, they are telling women how to cope with a tough situation that they're not currently in. They don't have the same experiences, even if you are a mother. Not everyone has the same education level, the same support system, the same amount of self-esteem. This man really annoyed me because it's too much when a woman shares her experience, but it's not too much when he inserts himself and goes asking her critical questions that would lead to a person feeling shame and criticized. I care so much about the child and how it would affect the child, but how you treat mothers affects their ability to parent. Now, personally, aside from social media, some ways you can show up for mothers is holding space for them, allowing them to have the tough conversations without judgment. Those critical questions, inserting yourself, that's judgment. Asking if they need anything. Do you need anything? There's a man who I follow, and he also follows me. When the whole conversation about school supplies came up, he offered to buy school supplies for women. That's actual care. That's actually showing up. It wasn't performative. When I have conversations about supporting women, showing up for mothers, it's not just on social media. I do this shit in real life. Holding space for women. I've sat with women in person where they felt safe enough to share with me that they had the regret of having children. When mothers were struggling, even when I lived across the country from my family and friends, the mothers in my life, I showed up for them. My friend got sick with COVID. Her husband was traveling for business and couldn't get home in time. I took a flight and went and took care of her kids. Showing up for her, asking mothers if they need anything, giving mothers a break, holding space, that is free. Holding space, being supportive, validating their experiences, that all comes free. Of course, you don't have to do it. You can just sit on the internet and criticize mothers. You will never be a mother. You'll never have similar experiences as women while being critical of women and how they cope with their life experiences. I have used my platform to support 2 different mothers who were struggling, donating money, my own money. And I'm not sharing that because I feel superior, but to lead by example, that there are ways to show up for women who are struggling.
For me, I feel like comments like this, when we get comments like this, it's difficult for mothers that are regretful to come out and share how they feel because of the way people are going to perceive them as a terrible mother. People don't expect you as a mom to even be sad or say some things from your mouth. Look at him saying that internet does not deserve to know. Internet does not deserve to know. Definitely keep it to yourself. If you're regretful mom, if you hate your life or your life became miserable after you have children, just keep it to yourself. You don't have to say it or put it to the internet so that your children are not going to see the video. But then I feel like this particular comment actually suppress women that are going through a lot to come out and talk about these things. A woman that has regrets motherhood from the day one might not want to come out to talk about it because of the way people are going to see her, or even people around her as well. They're not going to express themselves. They always want to keep it to themselves because of people like this that always want to see you in a different way. I personally feel like if you're regretful, you got a regretful mother, or if you regret motherhood, doesn't mean that you hate your child. In fact, you will love your child to death because you love your child to death and you want the best for them. Makes you sometimes regret motherhood. Being a mom is super hard. Motherhood is a very difficult job. So because of how hard motherhood is, it's normal for women to regret being a mom. And again, people don't actually say the truth about motherhood before now. People don't come out to say the truth about motherhood. So that also makes sense when women come out to tell us that this thing is not like the way you guys actually make it look like. Before now, it's like a taboo for a woman to come out and say she does not like being a mom. Like you're a mom and you're regretting when you're saying some things. People, you can't come out and say all those kind of things because people are going to come for you, right? So because of the way they actually make motherhood look like, oh, once you have that child, once you've given birth, you see your bundle of joy, you're happy forever, and all of that, you know, the only thing is probably stress, but at the end of the day, you will smile. This is making it difficult for women to come out to express themselves, for the ones that are regretful, for the ones that are seeing it in a different way. They don't want to come out to talk about it because a lot of people are saying a different thing. Personally, for me, I do not see any problem with mothers that are regretful and come out to tell us how regretful they are and advising younger girls or women not to have children because it doesn't worth it, or they're telling us how they lost their job, how they felt sick, the kind of sickness. I don't have a problem with it. I feel like this is even going to make people see that motherhood is not all that. They actually make us women to feel like the only reason why we came to this world is to be a mom. So if you're not yet a mom, you've not achieved, you've not fulfilled your purpose in life. That is how they make it look like. So everybody wants to be a mom, everybody wants to have children, everybody wants to, so that they can, fulfill their purpose in life. So when you taste motherhood and all of that, and you see that this is even like a trap, you're not happy and all of that, I don't see a problem with women coming out to express themselves anyway. And I personally do not see it that if you're regretful being a mom or you're a regretful mother does not mean that you hate your child. I don't see it that way. And I don't think that is what most of these women, or that is how they feel. You guys, what's your take on this video? Can you share your thoughts down in the comment section? Respectfully, as always, your girl Mara David. And thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please like and share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.